All right, before I ring the bell, I just want to have a quick statement. So as we kick off, working out all the bugs. As we kick off this Rotary year, I want to start with our RI President's charge to all of us. Create lasting impact. Nika Babalova introduced this theme at the International Assembly in January, and one line has stayed with me. Change is only the beginning. Impact is what endures. That distinction matters. We can run a project, write a check, show up to a service day, and that's all change. But impact is what still matters 5 or 10 years from now. But here's what I found out even more interesting. I had a chance to hear Nika at the Rotary International Convention a couple weeks ago. And he said again, or he brought up, he asked the room about lasting change globally and in communities, and people had lots of things to say. But when he asked about lasting change in themselves, people went quiet. The whole room was completely silent. That stuck with me because I think that's where we're leaving something on the table. Create lasting impact globally in our communities and in ourselves. That last part is where I want us to focus this year. So this starts right here with the people in this room. And that's my theme for this year, personally in this club, is that impact begins here. So with that said, I'm going to call on TJ Hull to come up and lead us in the flag salute and forward test.
Ring the bell.
Oh yeah, ring the bell.
Is this ring on? Okay, well, let's go ahead and salute the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, and the four-way test of all the things we think, say, and do. Is it the truth?
Truth is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
All right, thanks TJ. And so this is a picture from TJ when he was president during his presidential year back in 2013, 2014. So looking good. So, all right, let's have a seat. I'm going to do the thought of the day today, and I'll have you guys rise again for the song. Michael, if you want to start coming up, you can do that here as well. So before we move on, the 4th of July is in 3 days away. It's the 250th anniversary of this country. I was born in 1976, so the bicentennial year. The country turned 200 on the year that I came into the world. So this one hits a little bit different for me because I turned 50 this year. Most of you have sung the Spangled Banner so many times and don't think twice about it. But there's a story about that song that's worth knowing, especially this week. So I have a video that I'm going to show. It's about 6-7 minutes long. It's taking place at the thought of the day today, but it kind of gives the history of how the Star Spangled Banner was written and what the symbolism was written against.
Francis Scott Key was a lawyer in Baltimore. The colonies were engaged in vicious conflict with the mother country, Britain. Because of this conflict and the protractedness of it, they had accumulated prisoners on both sides. The American colonies had prisoners and the British had prisoners. And the American government initiated a move. They went to the British and they said, let us negotiate for the release of these prisoners. They said, we want to send a man out to discuss this with you. They were holding the American prisoners in boats about 1,000 yards offshore. And they said, we want to send a man by the name of Francis Scott Key. He will come out and negotiate to see if we can make a mutual exchange. On the appointed day, in a rowboat, he went out to this boat and he negotiated with the British officials. And they reached a conclusion that men could be exchanged on a one-for-one basis. Francis Scott Key, jubilant with the fact that he'd been successful, went down below in the boats, and what he found was a cargo hold full of humanity, men. And he said, men, I've got news for you tonight. You're free. He said, tonight I have negotiated successfully your return to the colonies. He said, you'll be taken out of this boat, out of this filth, out of your chains. As he went back up on board to arrange for their passage to the shore, the admiral came and he said, we have a slight problem. He said, we will still honor our commitment to release these men, but it'll be merely academic after tonight. It won't matter. And Francis Scott Key said, what do you mean? He said, well, Mr. Key, he said, tonight we have laid an ultimatum upon the colonies. Your people will either capitulate and lay down the colors of that flag that you think so much of, or you see that fort right over there, Fort Henry? He said, we're going to remove it from the face of the earth. He said, how are you going to do that? He said, if you will, scan the horizon of the sea. And as he looked, he could see hundreds of little dots. And he said, that's the entire British war fleet. He said, all of the gunpowder, all of the armament is being called upon to demolish that fort. It will be here within striking distance in a matter of about 2.5 hours. He said, the war is over. These men would be free anyway. He said, you can't shell that fort. He said, that's a large fort. He said, it's full of women and children. He says, it's predominantly not a military fort. He said, don't worry about it. They said, we've left them a way out. He said, what's that? He said, do you see that flag way up on the rampart? He said, we have told them that if they will lower that flag, the shelling will stop immediately. And we'll know that they've surrendered, and you'll now be under British rule. Francis Scott Key went down below and told the men what was about to happen. And he said, how many ships? He said, hundreds. The ships got closer. Francis Scott Key went back up on top and he said, men, I'll shout down to you what's going on as we watch. As twilight began to fall, and as the haze hung over the ocean as it does at sunset, suddenly the British war fleet unleashed. He says the sound was deafening. There were so many guns that there were no reliefs. He said it was absolutely impossible to talk or hear. He said suddenly the sky, although dark, was suddenly lit. And he says from down below, all he could hear the men, the prisoners, saying was, tell us where the flag is. What have they done with the flag? Is the flag still flying over the rampart? Tell us. 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours into the shelling. Every time the bomb would explode and it would be close to the flag, they could see the flag in the illuminated red glare of that bomb. And Francis Scott Key would report down to the men below, it's still up. It's not down. The Admiral came and he said, your people are insane. He said, what's the matter with them? He said, don't they understand this is an impossible situation? Francis Scott Key said he remembered what George Washington had said. He said the thing that sets the American Christian apart from all other people in the world is he will die on his feet before he'll live on his knees. The Admiral said, we have now instructed all of the guns to focus on the rampart to take that flag down. He said, we don't understand something. Our reconnaissance tells us that that flag has been hit directly again and again and again, and yet it's still flying. We don't understand that. But he said, now we're about to bring every gun for the next 3 hours to bear on that point. Francis Scott Key said the barrage was unmerciful. All that he could hear was the men down below praying. The prayer, God, keep that flag flying where we last saw it. Sunrise came. He said there was a heavy mist hanging over the land, but the rampart was tall enough. There stood the flag, completely nondescript, in shreds. The flagpole itself was at a crazy angle. The flag was still at the top. Francis Scott Key went aboard and immediately went into Fort Henry to see what had happened. And what he found had happened was that that flagpole and that flag had suffered repetitious direct hits. And when hit had fallen, but men, fathers, knew what it meant for that flag to be on the ground. Although knowing that all of the British guns were trained on it, walked over and held it up humanly until they died. Their bodies were removed and others took their place. Francis Scott Key said what held that flagpole in place at that unusual angle were patriots' bodies.
Gives a new meaning to the Star Spangled Banner, doesn't it? Let's call up, welcome Michael Flower, her birthday boy.
All right, please rise and join me in the national anthem. Okay, can you hear me? Please rise and join me in the national anthem. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Thank you very much.
So this is what happens whenever you have a president who has access to all the old pictures. So that's a picture from Michael during his presidential year.
Yeah.
Looking good, Mike. So you can please be seated. All right, so let's move on to, I don't know if we got anybody to run the mic. Oh, Moni's got it worked out. All right, let's do introduction of guests. Do we have any guests with us today? Please rise to be introduced. I'll start with my people real quick here. So I got my son Cameron, my wife Michelle, my dad Johnny, my mom Barbara, and then Quinn from my work, and Charlotte from my work. Go ahead, Frank.
Hi, my name is Raffle from Lodi, a former Rotarian. Glad to be here. I'm a retired musician. I'm local.
Awesome, welcome.
Local. And you are?
Miguel Viapula.
And what do you do?
I am the new Director of Government Affairs for RTD.
Give it up for Miguel.
President Matt and fellow Rotarians, I want to introduce my dear friend and good partner, entrepreneur, designer extraordinaire, Martin Sanchez. He'll say hello for himself.
Hi everyone, thank you for having me. Once again, my name is Martin Sanchez. I'm here, I have my business called Cultured Media and also representing Joaquin CDC. So we're a new CDC here in the area, and I help organizations and individuals be seen in different capacities, strategy, media, all the above. So thank you, thanks for having me.
Coming over to you today.
Making the newly president-elect run around. Okay, so hello, President Matthew, and congratulations. And I have my daughter here today to celebrate our birthday. The three of us, Michael, Dan, and myself. So, Reese Holt.
I think that's like 3 visits now. Don't we give her an application at this point? All right, any other guests or visiting Rotarians? All right. So I want to bring back up our new kind of happy buck system for this year. It's called Boast, Roast, and Toast. So the way it works is there's 3 options for you to be able to kind of be recognized or recognize somebody else. The first one would be a boast. So that's you kind of standing up and saying, I did something great, look at me. I'm going to celebrate that. A roast is whenever you see somebody that did something funny or did something maybe a little embarrassing and you want to kind of roast them a little bit, fellow members, that's where the roast comes in. Ideally, I'd like to clear those to make sure they're in Rotary standards prior, but that's a nice option for you. And then there's toast. So toast is whenever you want to kind of celebrate somebody else. You want to point them out, you want to contribute for doing that. So I didn't really set anything up. I have a couple for myself, but if any of you guys want to do it after I'm done, then you're welcome to ask for the mic. So I have a couple toasts. The first one is for my son Cameron. So he just got done with his freshman year over at Pittman High School, and we just got a letter yesterday that he made honor roll for the year. So good job, Cameron. And next I want to toast my lovely wife, Michelle. Because of her and her earning sales excellence for Staples, the company she works for, we got to go to Punta Cana and spend a week. All expenses paid last month, so that was completely amazing. And also, she just got an amazing promotion. She's now the key account manager for all of Northern California for Staples. So any accounts like SLED accounts, so all the school districts, all the government agencies, she's going to be your support person. So it's amazing. So congratulations, I love you. I'm going to donate $100 for each one of those to Rotary International. So do we have any other Boast, Roast, and Toast today? Laura.
So I have a boast and I just celebrate. So I'm boasting because some of you in here have been long enough where you know my son, Michael. Was it Ryla and all that good stuff. He just did his double masters from Dartmouth and Johns Hopkins, and he graduated, and he's going to Kansas City. Yeah. So, and then we just got back. I took my daughter, my son, and their spouses, and their friends, and we just spent a week in Greece, and then a few days in Amsterdam. So for all of that, I will do a bell ringer.
Awesome. First one of the year. All right. Car.
President Grizzle, I want to do a toast to our immediate past district governor, Jay Hislop, who had an amazing year, and under his leadership, the district grew in numbers and other things. So $100 to Rotary International Foundation.
And I will echo that. Jay did an amazing job as district governor. We were happy to have you, and we're looking forward to you being back in the club, helping out every week.
So mine is a boast or a toast. My wife and I were awarded our 25-year pin as Salvation Army officers, so I will give $25.
Awesome. Do you want that to go to International, or where are you going with that painting?
What?
Rotary International, SRE?
SRE.
SRE, you got it.
I have to do a post for Dr. Kui Key. Yeah, the number? You fixed my tooth? And then it was hurting. This is a couple of years later. And he looked it up and he said, I did that work, so I'm going to fix it. And he fixed it, and the pain went away, and he said, there's no charge.
What?
So he's a dentist you can count on.
Wow. All right, anybody else?
$100.
$100, wow. Thank you,
Hey, I
ma'am.
have an extra 100 in my pocket.
Hold on, Mike. President Grizzle, I'm a roast, boast, and toast. I want to welcome back my wife, wonderful Moni, back to the club, and I just want you to know been trying for a long time. I had no juice until Grizzle took over. So I'm gonna boast to you for your energy to get her back in. So for that, Moni, how much are you willing to rep check? She stays silent. Let's go $100.
$100. All right.
Amazing.
And Julie, I'm not sure. You know, you say you was it Drill, Phil, and Bill, but you missed the Bill part of the thing. So you may have to change your slogan. So, all right. So
One more.
Oh, one more. Sorry. Yeah, go for it.
No worries. Not only is it my birthday, but yesterday I celebrated 42 years of marriage to my beautiful wife Grace, who would be with me here today, but she is such a hard worker, she cannot break away from me. But she's an amazing person. So I'm gonna kind of roast myself a little bit. I did the same thing last year, and I tried to add my years of life plus my years of marriage, and I got it wrong. And Sally let me know. So I'm just gonna round it this year, 150, rounding up, 150 to Rotary Foundation, the International.
Perfect. All right. Thanks, Dan. Oh, one more. What do we got?
You got a new member of mine.
I'm relatively new to this, and I have a post. It's in today's San Joaquin magazine. We are the #1 Speedy Cruises. My company is the #1 travel agent by the San Joaquin magazine.
Awesome.
And I'd like to contribute $100.
Okay. Awesome. Perfect. All right, this is probably a good time. Let's have this birthday boys stand up. We've got Michael, JJ, and Dan. And let's sing a quick happy birthday to these wonderful gentlemen. So let's start. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Rotarians. Happy birthday to you. All right. And you guys are all like the original, like normal $1,000 each? Yeah. All right. I won't ring the bell. All right, so couple things. I don't know if you guys are aware or not, but today is the first day of the Rotary year, and since it's July 1st, the stars have aligned, and you guys have unwittingly given me an extra meeting as president. I will actually have 53 Wednesdays during this Rotary year. So if I completely botch today, we're just going to start over, forget this ever happened, and we'll do this all again next week. Does that work for you guys? All right. You got a good one. All right, so I'm kind of the program today, and I've kind of got a lot of stuff to talk about, so we're hopefully not going to get too tired of hearing me, but we have a lot of stuff to kind of cover. We're going to go over some of the things we're going to be doing over this next year. So let's get started. So what does this next year actually look like? I've met with individually with most of our board, and we've set 20 goals for this upcoming year through Rotary International. Everything from membership to service, to foundation giving, and I'm not going to walk through all of them today. I'm sure you're happy about that. But I want to highlight some of the ones we're going to prioritize. So our first is membership. And I talked Frank Farrell down from his number that he originally posed at me, which was what, Frank?
You said 45.
Well, I guess I moved it down even more. What was your original number?
To get back to our pre-pandemic level.
Which was 100 new members, correct? Was your original thought process? Okay. So I talked him off of that ledge. We got it down to 40. So we're starting the year with about 130 members overall. So that's with active members, honorary, legacy, corporate, etc. So if we go from 130 to 170, this is going to be a net number, Frank, hopefully, that we're going to be doing well. So every new member is someone who hasn't had their own Rotary moment yet. And part of our job this year is to create those conditions for that to happen. Yinka, our new international president, said it well. You never know whose Rotary story might begin based on the way you make them feel and mean it. So it's a charge to all of you that when you have guests here that are thinking about joining, you can feel welcome and everything. 40, I think, is a good number. You guys all think that's possible?
Yeah.
All right. Good. Hold you to that. All right, next is service participation. So our goal is, and this is a pretty conservative goal, is 50 members actively involved in surge projects throughout the year. So those are service projects, not just showing up here on Wednesdays. This doesn't count. You actually have to get out in the community and handle one of the projects that we're working on. So,
Does a mystery bus trip count?
the mystery bus trip does not count. But that'll count towards the next thing, which is socials. We've got 6 socials planned for this year, and I want to start treating these like a priority. Wouldn't it be great if we had 2 buses for the mystery bus trip? So in the past, our socials have been kind of lightly attended. We may only have 20, 30 people attend, and for a club of 130 people, I think it'd be great if we kind of made those a priority. Because the work we do here gets better when we actually know each other, right? So, which is really the thread I kind of want to have for this whole year. Impact begins here in this room with these people, and it only works if we invest in each other. So this year, beyond the socials, we're going to dedicate meetings to fellowship. Members will get time to share who they are, what they do, what brought them to Rotary. Not necessarily a resume, but a story. Because Rotary doesn't just change communities, it changes people, and I want this club to be where it happens. So, I'm going to go first. So, this is my About Matthew section. So, I want to start with a question that a good friend of mine in Rotary loves to ask. And I'm sure some of you have heard this plenty of times. And the question is, what is your superpower? And I've thought about that a lot. And I've landed on an answer that might surprise you. My superpower, I believe, is that I'm pretty sure I'm somewhere on the ADHD spectrum. I know. And yes, I'm aware of the irony that an 80s person is now asking for your full attention. But if you've ever worked with me on a project or worked on an event with me, you already know that I have 2 months. Scattered in 17 different directions, running all over the place. Me standing in front of this podium is really going to be a challenge for me this year. You're going to see me walking around. That's why I got a mic. My other option is I'm so locked in that the rest of the world completely disappears. So, and you don't try to talk to me or get in my way when I'm in that second mode. You can ask my wife. Sorry. So I tell you that because whenever you hear the story I'm going to go over, you're going to notice it's not exactly a straight line. But it has afforded me the opportunity to learn a lot of unique skill sets. And that's not an accident, that's just who I am. So first, before I do that, I do want to, again, acknowledge some of the people in the room. I'm really happy you're here today. So if I can have my mom and dad stand up. This again is my dad, Johnny, and mom, Barbara. And then also, if my wife and my son can stand up, Michelle and Cameron. They drove all the way from Turlock to join us today. Yeah. So having these people in the room who've watched most of this journey, if not all of it, it really means a lot to me. So thank you for coming. All right. So let's start with early years. How you like that picture? So I was born in Hayward. I grew up there, the oldest of 4 kids. My first job was a paper route. Actually, the one where you drive around on bikes and throw papers, not getting in the car. Which, looking back, was probably perfect for a morning person who doesn't need to sit still. I also spent time working with my grandparents who owned an auction and liquidation company. Pat and I have talked about that a few times. So if you've ever wondered where I get my comfort with controlled chaos, that's probably it. And I did have to include this picture because my brother Roy is up in the top in the middle, and I think it's a great picture of him. He looks really cute with his big ears. Plus it acts as proof that both of us did have hair at one point. Yeah, so did you say. That's right. All right. So when I was about 12, we moved to Manteca. I have cut the paper out for a little bit, but Manteca Bulletin. but I eventually traded in the papers for a set of turntables and CD players and became a DJ. That's where you see all this stuff coming in. So I did parties, school dances, Masonic functions. This picture was actually, I was a member of the DMLA, which is kind of like road rack for Masons. We did community service projects, we learned public speaking, and generally, hopefully, how to just be better humans. I graduated from East Union High School in 1994, go Lancers. And after graduating, I started at MJC. I got a job at a local cell phone retailer called Express Wireless. Actually, at the time, it was called Express Video and Cellular, but that's been a while. Probably nobody has ever heard that. So that brings me into the cell phone years. So for those of you who remember bag phones and flip phones and pagers, I was your guy, way back in the early 90s. I started as a salesman. I worked my way up to store manager and then general sales manager. And when I transferred to Stanislaus State, I ended up dropping out because I was promoted to vice president when I was about 21 years old. So I was probably in a little over my head. But I was like living the dream, running like 26 locations throughout the Central Valley. So eventually, it was time for me to go out on my own and be my own boss. So I opened up my own cell phone business. So we had 2 locations, focused mostly on business-to-business sales. I know some of my realtor friends in the room that have been around for a long time might remember me from attending CBAR meetings because I was like an affiliate member. And I was selling the realtor crack of the day, which was those little Blackberries, little Blackberry devices. Maybe remembers those. So, the early years of owning my business were great because it gave me the flexibility to stay at home with my newborn daughter, Lexi. That's a picture of her. She would sit there buckled in a little bouncy chair on my desk while I was helping, customers and closing deals. It worked out great until she started like crawling and walking and everything. That was game over. It was also during this time that I joined my first Rotary Club. A good friend of mine's dad, Al Nunez, some of you guys might know him. He's a longtime Rotarian in the Antigua Club, and he was a fellow Mason. He convinced me it was the right move. But timing really wasn't on my side for Rotary. I needed about 1.5 years before the cell phone industry really started shifting underneath me, and the business needed everything I had, so I had to resign from the club. At that point, like online shopping was coming around, and so the margins on everything kind of like disappeared, and so I ended up closing that business. Which takes me to the Stockton chapter. So during that transition, I was doing some contract work for a few magazines, and one of them was Elegant Lifestyles. This is one of the covers that one of my pictures was on that I was credited with. That work was for Carrie Sass. You guys all know Carrie. She was publishing for the San Joaquin Media Group, which was also under the direction of the Stockton Record. And so that connection somehow led me to be hired on there. And I don't see Mike here today, but our fellow Rotarian Mike Lockheed was the big boss man there at the Record at the time. He didn't directly hire me, but I remember him being opposing man around building. So I was their online marketing specialist back when nobody really knew what that meant. And so I sold ads on the new Stockton Record website. I ran social media seminars, and I tried my best to drive people into the digital age. And about 1 year in, a friend of mine came to me with the idea I couldn't say no to. The next natural, logical step in my professional career, which is opening a restaurant. That makes sense, right? So I had never even worked in a restaurant in my life. I had done pancake breakfast for the Masonic Lodge, but that was the full extent of my culinary experience. I had never even been possible. But my friends owned an ultra lounge on the Miracle Mile and wanted me involved. And they were convincing, so I put in my notice at the Record, and I spent the next 6 months doing electrical, plumbing, painting, and the build-out of what became Midtown Cray Cafe. Sorry, son. My son Cameron was born about 2 to 3 months. I told him, I was like, please, I need to put pictures of you in like that. My son Cameron was born a couple months before we opened, so once again I had a very small and occasionally loud co-worker helping me tile floors and things. So we opened in 2010, and were immediately slammed. We had lines down the sidewalk every weekend. We were open 7 days a week, 364 days a year, 63 days a year, but we were only open 8 a.m. to 2 p.m., which was perfect because it gave me the time in the afternoon to spend time with the kids. So a few years in, this location, or the location right next door, this location opened up, and we moved into that. It was a location about 3 times the size. And it was a good thing we did, because not long after we got everything built out and got moved in, we got a call from Food Network. And Guy Fieri from Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives wanted to feature us on their show. And so we went through that whole process, and one of these days maybe I'll do a program on that. It's not what it seems like on the show. But after that episode aired, it was a different kind of insane. We were right back to having lines down the sidewalk, but now we have 4 times the capacity. So it was pretty crazy. Everything was going great, but of course, life had other plans for me eventually. I ended up going through a divorce, and I stepped away from the restaurant, allowing my now ex-wife to purchase the business for me, which takes me to my Miracle Mile era. So I moved into the role of Executive Director of the Miracle Mile Improvement District, where I spent a little over 2 years. And I'm really proud of what came out of that time. We did the Miracle Mile en Blanc event, which was like closing down Tuxedo Court, and did like a tasting event there. We launched the car show and concerts, where we closed down all of Pacific Avenue and had several stages and hundreds of cars. We had the sip and shop. That all started there during those couple of years. And then COVID hit. So I was still Executive Director at the Miracle Mile when COVID hit, but I transitioned from kind of being the event planner and doing those kind of things to delivering PPE supplies, the masks and hand sanitizers and all that stuff. We were writing grants. I was working with state and city agencies to fund outdoor patios for all the businesses on the mile. So we'd open patios, awnings, everything, because that was really the only ways that these restaurants could stay open. Those patios and awnings and everything you see out there were kind of a testament to probably some of the hardest months that these restaurants ever went through. Or years, I guess. It was also during that time that Terry Hole sat me down and made a compelling case for rejoining Rotary. He basically said, if I wanted to rent an office in his building at PME, it was more or less a requirement. That's how he was first line signing on so many applications. So I joined the club in 2018. I believe it was during one of the last few months of Anne's year. So whenever she was president. And so somehow in that first year, I became club secretary. So a little side note for any members in the room, don't worry. It may seem like a pattern, picture prove it, but we're not actually going to make you secretary right away. It's actually something you have to want to do before we do it. So. Also during that end of my time on the mile, Michelle and I were reconnected. Through Facebook, and we've known each other for, we say off and on, we've been dating off and on for about 30 plus years, because we dated out whenever we were involved in the Sonic family way back in the day. So we got reconnected, we started dating again. She came with 2 kids, Charlotte and Jackson, and together we built something I'm truly proud of a family that really works. So, when we came through the other side of COVID, I decided I wanted to finish what I started academically. So I took a B2B sales role with Staples for the flexibility, and I went back to school. And a couple years ago, finally graduated with my degree in business administration. And I'm currently working on my MBA over at Stanford State. Which brings me to where I am today. Look at those good-looking people up there. So a little over 2 years ago, I joined California Farmland Trust as the operations director. And I've already introduced a couple of my colleagues. Quinn, who heads up our conservation work, and Charlotte is the executive director. And she hates for me to say it, but she is my boss. So what we do is we help protect the best farmland in the world right here in the Central Valley, keeping it in agriculture for generations to come. And I'm sure at some point this year, either myself or Charlotte or Quinn will come into a full program so you can kind of learn all the great work we're doing there. So that's the career. I left out building race cars and doing random stuff like that along the way because that's just insane. So after everything this career, so every day I go to work with kind of like feeling like I'm making a real difference. And after everything this career and life has looked like for me so far, that's not a small thing to say. So here's the current family scorecard. Michelle and I just celebrated our 4-year wedding anniversary. Lexi, my daughter, is 19 and she just finished her first year at CSU Monterey Bay. She's studying marine science. Cameron, again, is here today. He's 15. Probably he's way bigger than me now. Enjoying his summer before his sophomore year at Pittman High School. Charlotte, my bonus daughter, stepdaughter, is 19. She's heading out for a church mission to Seoul, South Korea in September. She'll be there for about a year and a half, which is both exciting and a little terrifying in equal measure. And Jackson, the big guy on the end there, is 24. He's out in Ohio doing his thing and living his best life. So, Michelle, I want to thank you again for being here and for putting up with all of this. You're an amazing partner in life. All right, so I shared all that because this year, Impact begins here. And it starts with knowing each other, not just names and job titles, but the real story, the winding path, the superpower. So consider this fair warning. At some point this year, I'm going to call on as many of you as I can, so quite a few of you, to stand up here and tell us who you are, what your superpower is, and why you do what you do. So I just figured it was best for me to go first. So, how are you doing on time? Or is she doing pretty good? Okay. So, next, I want to talk to you about what my official presidential project for this year is. And this one has been a long time coming. So, most of you know about Stockton, Rotary, and Anthem. SRE has been part of this club's history and legacy since 1982, over 4 decades. It has grown an endowment corpus of over $5 million and has distributed over $2 million in grants and scholarships to our community in just the last 15 years alone. And that's a remarkable track record, and it's something this club and SRE should be extraordinarily proud of. But here's the thing. SRE is an endowment. Its job is to preserve and grow the corpus, or bank balance, and distribute the income it generates through interest and investment earnings. It's designed to be conservative by nature, and it should be. That's what makes it work for the long haul. But what it isn't designed to do is to be an active, public-facing fundraising of this club. It wasn't built to run events, accept donations from grant agencies, execute direct service projects, or fund international initiatives. That's not a flaw. That's just what it was designed for. So for years, we've had an incredible financial foundation with no vehicle built on top of it. So the Stockton Rotary Foundation is going to change that. The SRF, or the Stockton Rotary Foundation, is a new 501c3 nonprofit we are in the process of forming right now. Its purpose is simple: to support charitable, educational, and community service purposes through grants, scholarships, and direct service projects and fundraising for the benefit of the public. Think of it this way. SRE is the roots of the tree. SRF is the branches. Together they give this club the full infrastructure it needs to grow its impact locally, nationally, and internationally. Here's what SRF will be able to do that SRE cannot. So SRF can run public fundraising events and accept donations directly from grant providers and private donors. So these would be things like our shrimp oil and things like that. When a sponsor writes a check to SRF, it's a full tax-deductible donation. SRF can fund and execute direct service projects. Not just write checks to other organizations, but actually do the work through the partnership with the club. SRF will have no geographic restriction, which means when disaster strikes somewhere across the globe and we want to respond, we will have the vehicle to do that. And SRF gives our donors a clear public-facing home to their charitable giving that directly supports Rotary's mission in our community. So this is something that we've been working on behind the scenes for several months. We formed a committee, Laura Pinkerton, Ann Johnson, Beto, and myself, and we've been working with our attorney Kai over at Proloft Law Firm to get it all right. And I want to thank, I know he's not here, but Tom Perry for his willingness to bring in his office to help us out. So far, we've drafted the Articles of Incorporation, which have been filed today. The bylaws, the Form 1023 narrative for the IRS tax exempt status, and the interorganizational coordination agreement with SRE. The formation process is well underway, but I want to be transparent with you, it's still in progress. We are in the legal formation phase right now, and there is still work to be done before SRF is fully operational. But the structure is in place, and the team is moving, and by later this year, I expect it to be all up and running. Fingers crossed. So what does that mean for you? A few things. First, when SRF is operational, there'll be real opportunities to be involved in fundraising events and project work and committee service. Second, you will hear more about this throughout the year as we move through the formation process and begin to stand the organization up. I'll keep you updated as the appropriate milestones come. And third, I want you to understand why this matters in the context of everything I've shared today. International President Gameka challenged us to create lasting impact, not just change. Impact that endures. The Stockton Rotary Foundation is this club's answer to that challenge. It's how we build something that will outlast any single year, any single president, any single project. It is the infrastructure for impact that lasts. And because impact begins here, and with SRF, here, it's got a lot bigger. So that's my presidential project this year. All right, really, right on time. So at this time, I would like to call on the board of directors to come up here to be recognized and receive their director pins. So anybody who's on my board, please stand and join me. All right, so we've got treasurer. And I hope everybody grabbed your Create Lasting Impact pins at the check-in table.
Do I need to?
Huh?
Do I need to?
No, we got to make a pledge here in a second. So, yeah. All right, well, we've got our secretary. Tiffany's public image. We got our president-elect, Beto. We got our youth and vocational chair, Dwight. Got our sergeant at arms, Ann. Oh, sorry, moving away from that. All right, everybody else will have to get there. So, hold on one second. I'm going to do my charge, and then I'm going to give you yours. So, I, Matthew Grizzle, as president of the Rotary Club of Stockton, will do my best to administer the duties of the office of president in a business-like manner, and in accordance with the club's constitutional and bylaws. I will support the principles of Rotary International and work with my fellow officers and directors to further the object of Rotary. All right, you guys ready? So raise your hand. I'm going to give you a charge and you say yes or no. Do you solemnly pledge that you will fulfill the duties of your office in the Rotary Club of Stockton to the best of your ability, that you will support President Matthew, and you will abide by our club constitution and bylaws?
Yes, I do.
All right, you guys all heard it. Thank you guys. All right, so let's move on. I know we had a couple announcements, and I don't have slides for you, but I want to give did Frank leave the room?
Yes,
He just left.
Well, should I do his announcement?
Yes.
sure.
Okay. So he's got, I don't know all the details, so I was hoping he was still going to stick around. He's got the military ball, I believe, at the Civic Center. Does anybody know about this or have any details on it?
We sold tickets.
He sold tickets, or you have tickets? He sold tickets, okay. There's still tickets available from what I understand, or you know what?
I have the details on here.
Okay, thank you, Lakai. You're a lifesaver. All right, so we got the All Armed Forces Ball, July 11th at the Stockton Hilton. Dress to impress. We have some tickets still available. If anybody's interested. I don't see a price on this.
$50, 5 p.m.
Oh, I thought we were going to do an auction. Okay, there you go. All right, do we have any other announcements?
I want to announce that one of our own, Lakeisha Little Shaw, was crowned Miss Corporate America this last week.
Oh, wonderful.
Northern California, and she just went to compete, I believe it was in Florida, and she is now a national title.
Wow, we're going to have to recognize that once she comes back to the league. So, all right, any other announcements? Oh, yes, we got this new great thing. So we reinstated the raffle. Did everybody get a raffle ticket? No? Do we have extras, Mommy? Oh, you put the name on it? Okay. See how much I know what's going on. All right, so in honor of the 250th anniversary of America, I got these fantastic 250-year mugs. So I'm going to give away 2 of these to the lucky winners. All right. First winner is our immediate past District Governor, Jay Hislop. You won first, so you get your choice. They're both pretty cool.
They are cool.
There's some patriotic pens in there too. I know.
Statue of Liberty.
All right. Congratulations, Jay.
Wonderful.
All right.
Cheese. Come on, Chris.
All right. All right, next winner is Billy Nathaniel. Come on down. So this is more or less my bribe for you guys to stick around till the end of the meeting. So, because we're going to do this right at the end. So, here you go, Bill. All right, get a picture. You're looking good. All right. All right. So, you don't have anything else before we head out? I just want to say thank you. What's that? Oh, the box is going to be, after this week, you win the raffle, you'll be able to pick a prize from the box. We're going to fill out with all kinds of great goodies. If you have something that's nice and great and that you think other people would like, please donate and we will put it in the box. If you have something maybe from your business or something like that, that might be great. So, anything else? All right. So before we head out, I want to say thank you. Number one, for being here today and for the work you put in week after week that makes this club what it is. We started today talking about creating lasting impact and about Nika's observation that when Rotarians were asked how Rotary has changed them, the room goes quiet, and I don't want that to be our time with us here. So this year, I want us to change each other, to know each other well enough that Rotary makes a mark, not just on our community, but on every person in this room. So impact begins here, it begins with you, and I will see you next week. This meeting is adjourned.